أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما الإمام المنتظر الحجة الثاني عشر روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد والفرقان الحميد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي زدني علما صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, I hope everyone is well. Just if someone can kindly come on the mic and tell me if they can hear me loud and clearly, please.
Assalamu alaikum, I can hear you.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Perfect.
Assalamu alaikum, yes.
Alaikum assalam. Brilliant. Okay. Now, first of all, welcome to this new session of this new course or module which we're starting on the Quran and the grammar of the Quran. In these sessions, I'll be concentrating on the ayat of the Quran and teaching yourself the Arabic grammar. So why do we need to learn the Arabic grammar is a question which comes in the mind of any person who is going to study the Quran. The reason why we study the Arabic language grammar is in order to be able to understand the sentence grammatically. So if you are able to understand a sentence grammatically, you will be able to translate the sentence correctly. So if you don't know the adjective of a noun, you may make that adjective as a doer of the action. For example, I'll give you an example. In English, we may say the knowledgeable Zaid gave a lecture. The knowledgeable Zaid gave a lecture. And if I did not understand the knowledgeable Zaid gave a lecture, and I said, Zaid, a knowledgeable, gave a lecture. Zaid, a knowledgeable person, gave a lecture. So if you didn't understand that this knowledgeable was an adjective of Zaid, you may interpret the sentence as knowledgeable as a separate individual because it's a noun, and you may understand it that this may be an independent noun and it's a doer of the action of giving a lecture. So this is the reason why it's important to understand where and how and what is sentence construction, whether it's a nominal sentence or whether it's a verbal sentence, and how the verse has been addressed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses different types of sentences, and when understanding the Arabic sentences is one level of understanding. The second level of understanding is the eloquence, balagha. So in ilmul bayan or ilmul balagha, you study the actual Arabic rhetoric. In rhetoric, you study how the sentence which is being delivered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is disclosing secrets which is hidden within them, in their hearts itself. So these are, again, a different level of understanding of the Quran from the eloquency of the Arabic language. So of course, the basic level is understanding the sentences, but there's a higher level, which is the eloquency of the Quran, ilmul bayan, ilmul ma'ani, to understand the eloquence of the Quran, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the individuals who is referring to. Of course, I cannot teach all of this at once. It has to be taught in gradual stages. However, today's session, I've decided that we will discuss nouns. And those who have been doing with me Medina Arabic 1, 2, and 3, and may be studying with me in the Hausa or have been studying advanced with me, advanced levels. Today's session, I'm going to deliver and discuss. It's going to be about nouns. So alhamdulillah, those who have completed book 2, you may so I'm inshallah going to discuss those topics about nouns and what are the different types of nouns, as the Quran has all different types of nouns, and it's important to understand. Of course, there's another level of understanding nouns, because in the Arabic language, it's a unique language in the sense that you have a singular, you have a dual, and a plural. So in the English language, you normally have a singular and a dual. Sorry, singular and a plural. So anything more than one, it's a plural. But in the Arabic and plural. And then the nouns itself are divided into three categories. So the nouns, okay, let me just have a look. Just give me 1 second. Let me just have a look at the individuals who are in the group so that I have an idea if there's how many new individuals have joined class, so that I would cater the class according to that. Okay, pretty much everyone I know in this group. So I will not give you a in-depth introduction as such. So everyone remembers, let me share this on the screen first. There's a few things I just need to cover as a preliminary. Give me 1 second. Right, okay. Just give me 1 second. Right. Right, okay, let's take it over here now. Can everyone see the screen? Yes, can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Right, okay, now I just need to explain a few things, and inshallah I'll discuss the second lesson. So those who have attended the lesson last week, sorry, the lesson 5 today in the morning to UK to American time, in the afternoon, 12 o'clock. I'm not going to repeat the same lesson. It's a different lesson. I'm going to do lesson number 2 so that I'll teach it vice versa. So those who are participating in both lessons, they have something different to take. And inshallah, I'll teach it in a method that you will not feel the difference that whether I've done lesson 1 or lesson 2 in such a manner that it's taught as if it is the first lesson of the book. Right. Now, before I start teaching yourself about plurals in the Quran and how they are coming, I need to cover just a few things, just as a precautionary measure, if there's anyone new in the group, that they understand as well. Number 1, now the vowels in the Arabic language. So in the Arabic language, you have a dhamma, a fatha, and a kasra. I'm just going to send this in the actual chat box, this slide, just as a precautionary measure. If no one has this, give me 1 second. I've just posted this in the actual chat box so that you have this slide. And there's a few other PowerPoint PDFs I'm sending across, which I'll be using today in today's lesson as well, inshallah. Okay, that's gone through. Right, so you have the dhamma, which is the pesh, the fatha, the zabar, and the kasra, the zir itself. Let me make it bigger if for those who are finding it difficult to read. And then the tanween, you know that the dhamma tanween, the kasra tanween, and the fatha tanween itself. So these are all the actual signs in the Arabic language. And Hamzatul Wasl, Hamzatul Qat, I'm not going to talk today. I'll talk about it later because that's not my subject, which I'm going to deliver. The other point which I need to discuss for yourself to understand is that in the Arabic language, before we discuss nouns, in the Arabic language, all words are divided into 3 categories. What are they? Fi'l, ism, and harf. Verb, noun, and particles. I'll discuss each of them during the course of these classes itself, but you need to be aware that when we are coming across a new word, you need to take consideration and try to distinguish whether the word which is you are seeing, whether it's a noun, and you have to distinguish whether it's a noun, verb, or a particle. And is anyone in the class who does not understand what is a particle? Is anyone in the class who's completely new, who doesn't understand particle? If so, if everyone understands particle, then there's no need for me to explain.
If you explain, it will be good.
Okay, now particles. Now there are, for example, nouns. Nouns are adjectives. Adjectives are describing words: generous, rich, knowledgeable, short, small. These are all adjectives. Okay, and then also nouns in the Arabic language, pronouns: he, she, we. These are all pronouns. And in the Arabic language also, sorry. So let me just give me 1 second. And then the other, of course, in the Arabic language, there's a vast variety of nouns which come under the category of subcategory of nouns itself. Now, verbs itself, past tense, present tense, imperatives, and negations. When you say do not go, these are all verbs. And particles are those things which are connected to a noun or connected to a verb. For example, I'll give you an example of a particle. I went to the shop. So when you say I went, to is a particle which joins to the word shop to complete the sentence of going. That I went to the shop. So to the shop with the word, it completes the meaning of going itself. So particles by themselves, they don't convey a meaning, but when they come with a noun or a verb, they complete the sentence itself. I'll give you another example of a noun. The man is in the house. So the man is a noun. In the house, in is a particle. The house is the particle which is attached to the house is the particle attached to in. So them together in the house with the man, it makes a complete sentence. The man is in the house. So the man is a subject. Fil bayti is a preposition itself. So these are prepositions. I'm using the English examples because this being the first lesson, and then inshallah I'll go gradually through the examples in the Arabic language. And this is important. I'll go through this because I haven't taught none of my students this at the moment because there hasn't been a need at the moment. But because I'm doing Quranic Arabic and teaching verbs, nouns, and all of the Arabic grammar from the Quran, so I need to cover these points here. So in the Arabic language, there are certain signs of a noun. They are the following. And they are the following: noun, pronouns, adjectives. They are all under the category of nouns. Okay. Then you have number 2, nouns. Now, only nouns itself will carry the harakat, the vowels, or the harakat of a kasra tanween, a dhamma tanween, and a fatha tanween. Dozir, do pesh, and do fatha. These are the signs of a noun. So when you're coming across a word and you want to look in the dictionary, you need to first distinguish whether it's a verb or a noun. And if it has a kasra or a dhamma or a fatha tanween, you will recognize it immediately that you need to look for a noun, not for a verb itself. And a ta marbuta, like a round ta, like alimatun. When we say alimatun, a female scholar, you see the ta marbuta like a boat added at the end, so you will know that this is a female noun. So when there's this sign is something which is only added to a noun. It never be added as a suffix to a verb. So with a verb, you have the flat ta. So the flat ta is a sign of a noun, female verb, which is attached to the past tense itself, like dharabat, nasarat. So this round ta is a sign of a noun. Number 2. Number 3, the definite article, al. So the definite article, the, it specifies what book or who are you referring to. The house or the book, you're referring to a particular book itself, like alhamdu, all praise to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or al-kitabu, the book, and kitabun. We did this before, that when we say kitabun means a book. It could be any book, a geography book, a maths book, a science book. But when you say the book, you're referring to a specific book, and therefore that type of noun is called a proper noun. And when you refer to any noun or any book, a book, it is called a common noun. Okay, so these three are the signs of a noun. Number 4, there are more signs, but I'm not going through them as yet because the way I'm teaching it is slightly different. Most words beginning with the letter meme are ism. So I can give you many examples. I'll give you an example. Any noun which starts with a meme in the beginning, it is a noun. For example, muslimun, mujtahidun, muntazirun, manzurun, mansurun,
Mu'min.
mu'minun. Yes, mu'minun, mu'minatun, majlisun, midrabun, miftahun, masjidun, mafatihu. So all of these are examples of nouns. So any word which 95% which has a meme in the beginning is a sign of a noun. Okay, so knowing this, it will allow you to distinguish and make you be able to use the dictionary as well. So these things will help you to understand. And when you're reading text in Arabic, these things are really important to understand these rulings itself. What is a noun? What is a verb?
Maulana.
Man kuntu mawla. Yeah, mawla, the word mawla itself. And then any word which does not have the ta'i marbuta, dhamma tanween, kasra tanween, or the fatha tanween, or the alif lam are verbs itself. Of course, there are other signs of verbs. I'm not going to explain at the moment because this is only an introduction session itself. I'll give you some examples of prepositions and then inshallah start the lesson. Ala, on, li, for, like lillahi, min, from, ila, ilallahi. So these are all particles which come before nouns. So all particles only come before nouns. They never come in front of verbs. Okay, that's that. Now, 2 more things and inshallah I'll start the lesson. The actual lesson to raf'un. So raf'un, it's a noun. So these are the inflections of words. So when a noun receives a dhamma, a pish, or a dhamma, it's called raf, and it's called the nominative case. And when a noun receives a fatha or a fatha tanween, it's called the accusative case. Jar is when the noun receives a kasra or a kasra tanween, a zir or 2 zir. It's called the genitive case. Okay, so these 3 things are the most important, which I'm going to delve further into now.
Can you tell what's the difference in accusative and nominative?
It's the harakat. When a noun gets a pish, it's called the nominative case. When it gets a zabar or a fatha, it's called the accusative case. When a noun receives a kasra or a 2 kasra tanweens, it's called the genitive case. So these are the actual states of the noun itself. And all of these 3 states, raf, nasb, jar, only the verb gets. Sorry, my mistake, the noun receives. So I'll give you some examples now here to remind you. Kalimatun, do pesh, 2 dhamma tanweens. Kalimatan, fatha tanween. Kalimatin, kasra tanween. Okay, so these are the singular words, and in the singular words you're getting 2 dhamma, 2 fatha, 2 kasra tanween. Is this clear so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Especially the newcomers, I would like the new students to come on the mic. Feel free, so that I get familiar and understand your levels as well. So please feel free to come on the mic. Sister Anam, Fuad, I think this is your first class.
Yes, this is my first class, but it is quite clear at the moment. I'm following you.
Okay, if there's any questions, by all means ask me, because I am trying to cater for all the different levels, but inshallah, once I've done the 3 trials and see the assessment and how everyone finds it, then I'll divide the classes into 2 groups, beginner and advanced and intermediate together, because at the moment I'm giving you a taster of a new approach of learning Arabic grammar, which I wasn't really for it before initially, but because there was a request from the students, can you do something with the Quran and try to teach some Arabic grammar from the Quran or something from the Quran? And I said, okay, I'll do it in my way, which I think is appropriate. So I'm a slight amend or using this book, which I have, and I'll teach additional things which I feel appropriate, which needs to be taught together. And inshallah, I wait for your feedback as well, inshallah. Okay.
Inshallah. Yeah.
So this Rafa,
Thank you.
Kasra, and Zabar can come with any noun, or they are specific
That's
for
right.
certain nouns.
All nouns will receive these three states. So that's a good question you asked. All nouns itself will get a dhamma, a fatha, and a kasra tanween. Okay, that's the first thing you need to understand. All nouns. Write this down in highlight your books. Write this down. All nouns will receive these three states. They can either come with a dhamma tanween, a fatha tanween, and a kasra tanween. Number one. Point number two. There are some exceptions. There are some exceptions where some nouns will not receive these harakat. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. That's point number two. Now, all of the nouns in English language and in the Arabic language are not always singular. Are all words in English language or in the Arabic language are all of them singular?
No.
Exactly. So what do we have in the language?
Singular, plural, and then in Arabic is singular, and then two, and then more than two.
Exactly. Now, this is the point I'm going to delve on, and I'm going to teach the whole lesson from this point, because my lesson is teaching about plurals, and this is the point for me to start to teach lesson 2 now. Now, listen to me really carefully. Those who have done book 2 with me, you will enjoy it because we have good revision for yourself. Those who are new, I'll inshallah make you travel with me, and I'll teach you so that you don't feel as if that you are completely new to a new concept and you don't understand, inshallah. So inshallah, just please bear with me, and I'll inshallah make it easy and simple for everyone. Now, as you see on the screen, Kalimatun, Kalimatan, Kalimatin. This is a singular word. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask Sister Anam for our mic. I'm going to just use you because you're new to the class, so I want someone to interact with so I can explain things and other students can benefit.
Yes, please.
Now, Sister Anam. Now, Kalimatun, Kalimatan, Kalimatin. It says here singular as well. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the class, and I asked this question that all nouns are not singular, they're dual and plural. Now, let me move on. Now, the word Kalimatun, which means word, when, as I said, that Arabic language is unique, it has the dual as well. Now, how do you make the dual in the Arabic language?
Kalimatan. You add alif and noon.
Exactly. Listen to this, everyone. When you want to make dual indicate upon two individuals, you add alif and noon. Not all alif noon. Alif noon with a kasra. The noon will have a kasra. Now look over here. Kalimatani. Kalimatani. So look at this. So I want everyone to write on the book Kalimatun. Next to it, Kalimatani, and highlight the alif and the noon. So here, when we are making the dual, we are adding the alif and the noon. Now here, the alif and the noon. So in the singular, we had the kalimatun to indicate it's a singular word. Now, when we want to make dual, we add the alif and the noon with a kasra to indicate dual. And all words, now this is the next point I need to mention. All words in the Arabic language, all words, in particular the nouns, their default position. Now, what do I mean default position? All words have a normal position for the word, how they are pronounced and how they are read. Now, all words in the Arabic language, their default position normally is two pair, do pesh, kalimatun. As long as not, as long as it not coming with alif lam. If it's coming with alif lam, then it's, Sister Anam, what will it be then? Would it be kalimatun or al kalimatu?
Al kalimatu. We won't pronounce the tanween then.
Exactly. That is with regard to that. Now, in regard to the dual, you have the alif nun. Now, over here now, I'm going to expand the concept now. Now, over here now, what's happening is that this alif and the nun with a kasra is highlighting that this word, let me just, okay, this word over here, kalimat, this alif nun is in the original state. Kalimatani is in the state of raf, means original state of the dual. So kalimatani. So every dual, when it's in the original state, in dual, it should have alif and nun with a kasra. So in the singular, you have the, so let me make this clear now. In the singular, you have the dhamma tanween. And how do you show the dhamma tanween in a dual noun? How do you show that? In the dual noun, the alif and the nun with a kasra represents the dhamma tanween. It illustrates that this word is in its original state. There's nothing which is changing the word itself from its original state. Is this clear so far?
Yes.
Okay, let me move on further. Now, the next word, the dual. So the dhamma tanween is represented in the dual by the alif and the nun. Now, next one is the dual, nasab and jar. Nasab, as I said, accusative case, when the noun should get a fatha. Jar is when the noun should get a kasra or a kasra tanween. Now, the dual nouns, when it comes in the nasab and the jar situations, now you may ask me, Imran or Maulana Imran, how does a noun get a fatha tanween, or how does it come in the jar state? That would be a very good question. Would you agree, Sister Anam?
Yes, absolutely. But
why does it get a fatha tanween, a kasra tanween? Now, all of this is based upon the word kalima, where it is situated in the sentence. So sometimes there are certain, now I'm not going to teach you today what particles can come and will give the word those two fathahs, two kasra tanweens. There are certain words, if they come before the noun, they will change it from a dhamma tanween to a fatha tanween and to a kasra tanween. Like I mentioned about prepositions, like fi. When fi comes before a noun, it gives it a kasra tanween. And I'm just going to mention this as passing by. The word kalimatan, fatha tanween. So fatha tanween is normally given to a noun when it comes as an object for a verb. So fatha tanween is normally assigned for a noun when it is an object for a verb. Okay. Now over here so this is something new. So you will see here in nasb and jar, the singular has two fathahs, and in the jar case, it has two kasra tanweens. There are two different i'rab. Is that correct, sister?
yes.
Now, in the dual nouns, in both of the cases of nasab and jar, where it should get a fatha tanween and a kasra tanween, the dual nouns, in both of these situations, the word remains the same. How does it remain the same? In the dual, it gets alif and a nun with a kasra. That's how you make dual, kalimatani. But in dual and jar, in both of these cases, when it should get a fatha and a kasra tanween, the word changes in one form and it's used in both of the scenarios, in both of those states. What is it? Ya and a nun with a kasra. Ya and a nun with a kasra. Kalima.
Kalimataini.
Kalimataini. So kalimataini itself, it's a dual itself, which is in the case of the nasb and the jar itself. One example. Is that clear for you?
Yes. Sir, can you give one example in a sentence? For example, what you were saying is it becomes a subject and sometimes it becomes a doer. So if it is with a dhamma
Yep.
in a sentence, then it's a doer. And if it's with the fatha, you're saying it becomes a subject?
No. So sometimes, no. If it comes with a dhamma tanween, so if a noun comes with a dhamma tanween, it can either be the subject or it either can be the doer of a verb.
Okay. So if I put it in a like one simple sentence like Aliyun Katala Zaidan, like if there is who killed who, is it dependent on the tanween, right?
Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Okay.
That is right. So I'm not going to teach that. If I go in that, that is going to completely divert me off the track. But just remember the harakat, changing of the harakat changes the meaning itself.
Okay, sure.
So like you said,
Assalamualaikum, Maulana Imran.
alaikum salam.
So the question is coming to my mind that
Yep.
how we are going to identify if it is a nominative or accusative noun.
That I will teach you this gradually, sister. What I need to do first, I need you to, what I will teach you this, inshallah, maybe next lesson, of how to distinguish this. But first of all, I'll need to teach you how do you change the words itself, the nouns. That how do you make the dual, how do you make the nominative and genitive case? Once I've taught you that this is the word format and the formation, then I will teach you what are the particles, what are the prepositions which come before the noun and will make it nominative or accusative and genitive itself. Is that clear?
Yes.
If I
Yes, Jazakallah.
it will be too much for everyone to absorb. So I will do it gradually itself. So I'm gradually going through these examples and inshallah explain. Okay. Can I?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Islam.
I have one question.
Yep.
If you can give me the difference in meaning, like for example, Kalimatun, I understand is like
a word.
a
Means
word.
a word. Yes,
So
a word.
Kalimataini. So Kalimataini means two words. Kalimatani is two words. What is this different meaning of Kalimataini?
Okay, the meaning wise at the moment, Kalimatani and Kalimatani remain the same.
Okay.
So the word, it's the Kalimatani, that's a good question. Kalimatani and Kalimatani, it means the same word. Now, the only difference is going to happen is that in here, when you have Kalimatani, it will normally come as in the beginning of a sentence. That's why it has alif and the noon with the kasra. When Kalimatani comes, it means it's coming either as an object. For example, I'll give you an example. I wrote two words. I wrote two words. Write this example down. I wrote two words. I wrote two words. Now in Arabic, if anyone who's got Arabic keyboard on their phone, if you can type it, that would be appreciated. My phone is not okay. I found it. Okay. Now let me just log in from my phone as well. Give me 2 seconds.
كتبت كلمتين.
Asa, who is this?
نرجس داية.
Sorry.
نرجس داية.
Should be أكتب كلمتين, right?
No,
كتبت.
what she said is correct. What she said is correct. كتبت كلمتين. So here, كتبت, I'm gonna write this down in the actual chat box so that you take this down as well. كتبت. Just give me 2 seconds, Kalima. It's a really good question you asked, sister Kulsum. I wrote it down in the chat box. Katabtu kalimat means I wrote
Two words.
two words. Okay. So what's happening here? Can you see the difference now? Kalimatani means two words, and katabtu kalimataini, I wrote two words. Okay, so you will see the difference now in one sentence, and I'll give you another example. I'll give you another example, and I want you to write this down. Give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I'm just writing it down so that you can understand it clearly. What's the difference? I've sent this down. Hatani kalimatani. Hatani kalimatani. So the word hadihi, like in Surah Yasin, hadihi jahannamullati kuntum tu'adun. So hadihi means this. Hadihi means this. Is a singular. The dual for hadihi is hatani. So hatani kalimatani. These are
Two words.
two words. So here, hatani kalimatani, hatani. So in English and Arabic language, you have a verbal sentence and you have a nominal sentence. A verbal sentence is a sentence which starts with a verb, okay? And a nominal sentence is a sentence which starts with a noun. And also the second word can be also a noun. And in a nominal sentence, the first noun is called the subject, and the second noun is called
Predicate.
predicate. So hatani is the subject, the mubtada. In Urdu and Arabic, we use the word mubtada. Mubtada means the noun which starts a sentence, and kalimatani is the khabar. Khabar meaning the news which we are giving about the subject itself. So whenever in the English language, the word is situated between two words, you need to understand this is subject and predicate. So hatani kalimatani, this or these are two words. So are or is, any of them, these are two words. So this is subject and predicate. In the previous example, katabtu kalimatani, I wrote two words. So two words here. The word, it comes with ya and a noon with a kasra, is showing that kalimatain is coming as the object of writing. That, what did you write? I wrote two words. Is that clear?
Yes,
So-
Sheikh, thank you.
So,
Yeah,
so Maulana, Raf, Nas, and Jar
Yes.
depend on the preposition, right? What you are going to put there, I'm going to put the Raf, or the Nas, or the Jar. It depend on the.
No. No, the harf itself, it's some the harf itself are, there's different categories. So the default position of all nouns is raf. Okay, that's the default position. All nouns should be given either one dhamma or dhammatun. Kalimatun, habibun, muslimun, ainun. Now the fatha tanween, as I said to yourself earlier, that majority of the case when a noun receives a fatha tanween, it's normally because it's an object for a verb. Like if I said katabtu, the verb katabtu, I wrote. Katabtu kalimatan, I wrote a word. Katabtu kalimatan, okay? Jar is when a noun receives a kasra or kasra tanween. That is what is jar. Jar is when a noun receives a kasra or a kasra tanween, okay? Like muslimin. Now, I'm going to give you an example of
But how do you determine what to put? You have to put
I'll
Darf,
teach-
Nas, or Kasar. How do you determine that?
I will not be able to teach everything. The question is a good question, but because I have all the students on board with me, I have to teach them things step by step. So the question which you have, I will answer it, but not yet. Because if I go on to that, all of the lesson will be destroyed. That's what I'm trying to build upon. Arabic language is like building blocks. You build upon the blocks. As I said, I will explain to you what particles which come and makes the noun. There are also particles which make the noun in the nasb, and there are particles which come and make the noun in the state of jar. So at the moment, I'm teaching you dual. So remember that. What are the signs, or how do you make a dual itself? So there's two ways. As I said, there are three states for a noun: raf, nasb, and jar. Now, next word is habibun. Habiban, and Habibin. And you will see that here you have Habibani. So you have the alif and the noon with a kasra. And when you want to make it jul, you change it. If you want it jul, nasib and jar, you change the alif noon and a noon with a kasra and becomes Habibaini. And another example, now here, remember I talked about the meme with a dhamma in the beginning? Muslimun. So in the singular, you have the dhamma tanween. In the raf, when this is the default position, Musliman, Muslimin. So nasab fatha tanween, jar kasra tanween, Muslimin. When we make the jul, you add the alif and the noon with a kasra. And this is a raf. So when you make the jul, you add the alif and the noon with a kasra. So Muslimun is a singular. The jul is Muslimani. And when the noun should get a fatha or a kasra tanween, in regards to the jul, it doesn't receive the fatha tanween or the kasra tanween. Instead, we change the letters itself to demonstrate that itself. So we have the alif noon with a kasra changed to ya and a noon with a kasra. Is this clear so far?
Yes.
Sister,
Can I
let's just-
ask? Can I
Yes.
ask one question?
Go ahead, sister.
Okay,
Warda.
so I got like the when it's marfu like Muslimun,
Yep.
the dual is Muslimani, and when it's mansub and it's majroor,
Yep.
Musliman and Muslimin is Muslimaini.
Correct.
That's I know, but I am confused. Like where you say hatani Muslimani, how
Yep.
can we explain Muslimaini here? It's gonna be what
You
word
can't-
before that?
Okay. Again, that was an excellent question. MashaAllah, the question you have asked is excellent. Okay. Let me answer the question. Let me answer it very simply. Let me answer this question simply.
Sheikh, before you answer, would it be
No.
hatani or hadani?
Let me explain this first, and then I'll answer any other questions. Let me answer this first. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to put this harakat on this word, and then look at it, please. Give me 1 second. Has everyone seen this in the chat box? Ar-rajulu alimun. Ar-rajulu alimun.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Got it? Let me explain this, and then I'll answer your question. What says Wajdan? Ar-rajulu, the book one students who have joined me, this will benefit you as well. Ar-rajulu alimun. Remember this point. Remember I said when a noun starts a sentence, it's called subject and predicate. Yes? Does you remember
Yes.
that? I told you that whenever a noun starts a sentence, it's subject and predicate. Now, let me add another point on top of this. Whenever a sentence is subject and predicate, mubtada and khabar, they are always in the
Marfu.
who said this?
Marfu said, yeah.
Who said this?
Nargis. Nargis Daya.
Ahsanti. Yes. Whenever a noun is in subject and predicate, they're always marfu. They always come with a dhamma. The first noun will always come with the alif lam, and the second noun will come with a dhamma tanween. This is a ruling. This is a ruling. So this is the generic ruling when you will know that the noun, as I said to you, all nouns in their default position should be with dhamma or dhamma tanween. So here, always the subject will be with dhamma or a dhamma tanween. Ar-rajulu alimun. So ar-rajulu is the subject, alimun is the khabar with a dhamma tanween. You will never have hatani kalimataini. You will never have that. Hatani, you will know that alif noon the kasra, hatani is coming in the beginning of the sentence, is coming as a subject. And whenever there's a subject, the predicate always is in the nominative case. So you will say kalimatani, not kalimataini. Sister Wajda, does that answer your question now?
Yes.
Clear?
Thank you.
Sheikh, I have a question here. Object is maful bihi, right?
Yes, maful bihi. Object is maful bihi, which
Yeah.
is for a verb. Okay, that is
Okay.
enough. So let me move on now. Now, let me move on. Is it so far clear for everyone? Is anyone confused with the way I'm explaining things?
It's clear.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Now, next phase. Now, inshallah, as I mentioned earlier, now in the Arabic language, nouns are of three types. How many types of nouns in the Arabic language? There are three types of plurals.
Three.
There are now in English we don't have this, but in the Arabic language you have the sound masculine plural. What do you have?
Sound masculine and plural.
And the sound masculine plural, that's number one. Write this down. In the Arabic language, you have three types of plurals. Sound masculine plural. I will explain them once you write this down. Write these titles down. Then the second one you have is the sound feminine plural. Sound feminine plural. That's number two. Number three. The third one we have in the Arabic language, it's called broken plurals. So all of the nouns in the Arabic language will be under one of these three categories itself. Sound masculine plural. Now the plural example of the sound, write these examples down and I'll explain. The sound masculine plural example is from the singular. Look at the screen. Look at the screen and I'll explain to you. Muslimun is the singular, means a Muslim. The plural is Muslimuna or Muslimina. So Muslimuna and Muslimina, this is called a sound masculine plural. Just write this down. Example of a
Sound plural.
a sound feminine plural. Look at this here now. Muslimatun is a singular. Muslimatun, Muslimatun, and the sound feminine plural is Muslimatun. What is it? Muslimatun. And
Muslimatun.
yeah, Muslimatun. So this is the plural. It's called the sound feminine plural. I'm going to come back to them. I'm just giving you examples so that you have something to fall back on. I'm just planting the seed. Once I planted the seed, I'm going to go back to it and refer to it. Now, the word, which word should I give you? I'm going to use the word here, the second word, qalbun. The word qalbun. The word qalbun means a
Heart.
Heart.
yeah. The qalbun means a heart. Okay. The word qalbun means a heart. And the plural of qalbun is qulub. So qulubun is a broken plural. So qalbun and qulubun. Is this clear?
Yes.
Right. Everyone clear with it so far? Right.
Yes.
Let me go back.
Why there is not kalban? Like two.
No, this is plural. This is plural we're talking about. We're not talking about dual. We're talking about plurals. If it's qalbain, it's correct. Qalbain is dual itself. So qulubun is the plural. We're talking about plurals, okay? When we're making the dual, you add the alif and the noon. That's correct. But when we make the plurals, there are three types of plurals, okay? Now, let me explain further to make this clearer for you. Let me just... Is this big enough for everyone? Can everyone see clearly? Okay.
I have one more question. When you say sound, what is sound?
I'm going to explain. Give me some time. I like your eagerness, but you need to be patient.
You mentioned that.
Jay?
You mentioned that sound singular, sound plural, sound masculine.
I will explain. I will explain. I'm going to explain. That's why I said I'm going to plant the seed, then I will explain. Just be a little patient, and inshallah I will explain. Now here, listen to this. Now over here,
Now the sound masculine plural, what it means this. Write this definition down. You can read this afterwards, but I'm going to put this in a nutshell so that's easy for you to understand. So the word singular, so the sound masculine plural, so masculine, it means is a masculine noun. It's for the boys. It's for the boys, not for the girls, okay? That's what it means by masculine. Now, when we talk about sound masculine plural, it means this. It means that in its plural, the word muslimuna is the plural. What is the word plural? Muslimuna. Now, the sound masculine plural means that the singular word, which is muslimun, has not changed in its plural. Has not changed in the plural. So here, muslimun, you can still see the same word, muslimuna. We just added at the end the waw and the noon. So that's what's a sound plural, that the singular word is visible in its plural. So if we remove the waw and the noon from the end, just from the end, you're left with the singular itself. Is that clear?
Yes.
Is that clear, rest of the class?
Yes.
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 That's called a sound masculine plural. And even in muslimina, remove the ya and the noon and put the default harakat. As you know, the default harakat for the singular is a dhamma tanween. So muslimina, change the ya noon, becomes muslimun and muslimun. Is that clear?
Yes.
Right, okay. Now, next step. Now, the word, as you can see in the singular, you have the dhammatin, muslimun. Now, when we make the plural, we add the waw and the noon. So, the waw and the noon in the sound masculine plural, the waw and the noon is the symbol that the noun is in its original state. What is the original state? Raf.
Muslimun.
Muslimuna. In muslimuna, the waw noon shows that the word in its original state, there's nothing which has come before it to interfere with the original position of the noun. So all nouns, sound masculine plurals, should end with waw noon. Okay? Step number one. Step number two, if the word muslimuna is coming in the position of nasb, when a noun should receive a fatha tanween or a kasra tanween, the sound masculine plural in both of those states, nasab and jar, it changes from a waw noon to a ya noon, and before the ya, we have a kasra. I'll repeat this once more. So the sound masculine plural, we're talking about plurals. When it comes in the singular, you have musliman and muslimin. You have the two fatha tanween and the kasra tanween in the singulars. But in the plurals, you don't have that. In the plural, in the nasab and jar, when it should get a fatha or a kasra tanween, the word muslimuna in both of those states will change to a ya and a noon with a fatha, and before it will be a kasra. Is that clear?
Yes.
Muslimina.
I have one small thing in my mind. I just want to ask you, if it's a dual.
Who is this asking?
Anam.
Yes.
So if it's a dual in muslimina, so we have the same ya and a noon, but with a kasra.
No. Good question. In the dual, it's muslimani and it becomes muslimaini. So in the plurals, before the ya is a kasra. In the plurals, the letter before the ya is a kasra. But in the dual, it's a fatha. Muslimaini.
Okay, got it.
Very good question. So Anam, have you done any Arabic before?
A little bit, yes.
How much little bit? How much does that include? A whole year? 6 months?
No. I'm the basic one, the noun, verb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So next example, Nasirin. So then the word nasirun comes in its original state, it has the dhamma tanween. When it comes nas as an object, it becomes nasiran. When it comes before a fi or ala, nasir, it gets a kasra tanween. The plural is nasiruna. The waw and noon had been added. So whenever you add waw and noon at the end of a word, you will normally know that's a sound masculine plural. And the word nasiruna, when you're making in the nas and jar, you change the waw and the noon to a ya and noon, and the letter before it gets a kasra, becomes
Nasirina.
Nasirin.
nasirina.
Nas-
Thanks.
I
Next
have
word.
one more question, Malana Sam.
Jay.
Is it possible for a word to have broken plural and a sound plural at the same time?
No, you won't. You won't. Because what happens is that the sound plurals itself, they come for a fixed pattern of nouns.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a fixed pattern of nouns which will have the sound masculine plurals and the sound feminine plurals. And those who have broken plurals, they are separate itself. Because what happens, the sound masculine plurals and the sound feminine plurals, they come from a particular type of nouns which have been extracted from a verb.
Okay.
That's why they will not come together. Good question. And there may be occasions that you may have it, but majority of I have not come across what I remember myself having a noun which has the sound masculine plural and the broken plural for it at the same time. It doesn't have that.
Okay.
Rarely you may have it, but majority of times you won't have it.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, next thing. Is this clear so far?
I mean, if you can tell what is the broken, why it's called broken plural? Any particular?
You try to run. You're trying to run before you start to walk. So please give me a couple of minutes to explain the sound feminine plural before you go on to the broken plural. I haven't started even broken yet. Give me a couple of minutes. I'll explain that as well. Now, the sound feminine plural is. Now let me explain. The sound feminine plural is that. Let me show you. In the singular, you have muslimatun. So the singular is muslimatun. You have the time marbuta at the end. Muslimatun. And the sound feminine plural is that the singular word is still visible in the plural. So what we do is that the word muslima is still visible in the plural, muslima. And when we make the plural, so this is a ruling. If you want to make a sound feminine plural, this is always the case. You add an alif and a flat ta. Alif and a flat ta. So the flat ta is called mabsuta, muslimatun. So muslimatun is the sound feminine plural. How is it feminine? Because whenever a noun has an alif and a flat ta, it's a sign of a sound feminine plural. So when a sound feminine plural comes, you will have always a dhamma tanween at the end. So in the sound masculine plural, we had what? What was the sign of plural? Waw.
Waw and noon.
Waw and noon, correct? Waw and noon. But in the sound feminine plural, you have the alif and the ta and the dhamma tanween on top. Muslimatun.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Muslimatun. So muslimatun is
how we say looks similar, but how we write looks different.
exactly. So even the pronunciation is different. This is muslimatun and this is muslimatun.
Yes.
There's alif as well, which added to the meme and it prolongs the meme. Muslimatun. So in the singular, to get the original state of the noun of the singular, it's muslimatun ta marbuta. In the nas, it's muslimatan fatha tanween. In the kasra, muslimatin kasra tanween. of the sound feminine is muslimatun. So the tanween here, muslimatun. Now, this point you should remember. In the sound feminine plural, when you want to make the nasb and jar state of the noun, what state you want to make? When it gets noun should get a fatha, or a noun should get a
Kasra.
kasra tanween. So in the sound feminine plural, what happens in both of these states, nasb and jar, it gets a kasra tanween. In both nasb and jar, it gets a kasra tanween. So it doesn't get a fatha tanween, it gets a kasra tanween. Muslima,
Tin.
muslimatin. Muslimatin, okay? And the word kalimatun is a singular feminine. Kalimatan, kalimatin. The plural will be kalima,
Tun.
kalimatun. And when it is in the nasb and jar, it will not get a fatha or kasra tanween. In both of the situations, it gets what?
Kalimati.
Kasratin.
Kasra tanween. Exactly, kalimatin. Sister Muhaymina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Alaikum salam. Can you do the final one? Ayatun.
Ayatun,
Ayat.
ayatun, ayatin,
Ayatan.
ayatan, sorry,
Ayatin.
ayat, ayatun, ayatin. Am I doing the rough one? Ayatun is ayatan and ayat. Sorry, the rough is ayatun and ayatun.
Ayat.
No, what's the nasb and jar for ayatun?
For nasb and jar will be ayatin.
Ayatan and ayatin.
Correct. Ayatan, ayatin. Correct. That's a
Yes.
singular. That's the
Yes.
singulars. And in the plural, the sound feminine plural, what are they? Aya.
Tun.
Yes, I'm saying
Ayatun.
ayatun and
It-
ayatin for the nasb and the jar.
Excellent. And so ayatin is for the nasb and jar. Right.
Yes.
This is everything I'm going to explain because I've done my hour. If I go hour, people are going to switch off. Right. Did everyone understand this now? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
So is kalima right here is feminine, but it was also masculine.
No. Was kalimatun is feminine. It has a time marbuta at the end.
Okay.
Remember? It has a time marbut, so it's feminine. Any word which has a time marbuta at the end, it's feminine. So whenever there's a time marbuta at the end, then you're able, probably in some of the cases, you're able to make the sound feminine plural by removing the time marbuta and add alif and a flat ta, and that will make it a sound feminine plural. I was going to teach broken plurals, but I ran out of time. I'm not going to touch it. Now, the lesson which I was planning to teach and go for the book. If you look, Zalimun, Zalimuna, Tawabun, Tawabuna, Ajamiyun, Ajamiyuna. You see the wow noons, sound masculine plural. So I've put the lesson outside the book to make it easier for you. Mu'minatun, time marbuta then. How do you make the plural?
Mu'minatun.
Exact. Ayatun?
Ayatun.
Exactly. So the broken plurals are easy, and I'll do that next week with you. But what I want you to do, everyone, I want you to go through the ayat of the Quran now, and do the homework. Look at this, write down, and show and understand where is it sound masculine plural, and where is a sound feminine plural. Do that. And all the broken plurals, don't do that. I'll do that with you in class next week. Okay?
Inshallah.
Okay? I'll do that. I'll continue this lesson next week and I'll go through the broken plurals with you. But try to go through this and try to understand where the sound feminine plurals and sound masculine. If you understand this, you build your vocab. Because any word you have, you can make it sound feminine and sound masculine. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad ajil farajah. Right. So I'm going at a slow pace because Arabic is, if I go so quick and teach it as fast speed, you'll not enjoy it. I'm speaking at a really steady speed that everyone is on board with me and understands and is able to absorb. So inshallah, there will come a phase where I'll do several lessons at one, 2 or 3 lessons at one time. But at the moment, everyone is new to these concepts. I have to take my time and gradually explain these concepts. So inshallah, how was it today for yourself? Inshallah, I hope you understood this so far. Of course, I wasn't able to give you ayat of examples from the Quran yet, but inshallah next week, I'll give you examples of sound masculine and sound feminine from the ayat of the Quran to explain and make it more clearer for you.
Jazakallah, yes.
Thank you, Maulana Sahab. And I really like the pace, and I think I knew the bits and pieces but they're all jumbled up. But the way you are taking it, it's making sense. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's amazing.
So
are you giving these examples in our group?
These are the whole PDF book. I'll send it across to everyone, and you could do this in your own time. Al-Muslimuna, Al-Muslimatu. So remove the waw and the noon. You will Al-Muslimu is the singular, Al-Muslimuna is the plural. So Al-Muslimatu, alif and the ta on the screen. So you know that this is the sound feminine plural, and this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach Arabic language from a traditional Islamic seminary method. So I'm not using some of the other methods which other teachers use, which are really difficult. I'm trying to make it very simple, understandable for everyone, so that they can learn things easily and it's systematic. So that's the reason why I'm teaching it with my own approach. And inshallah, follow it, and inshallah, I will get you through the Quran, that you will have a better understanding, inshallah, of the Quran. Okay? Any questions?
Inshallah.
Any questions from anyone?
Shukran. I think it's more than remembering it, how to do it, It's
Practice.
like formulas,
Yeah. The more we practice, Mushi iPhone, what you need to do is that I will give you more practice. So don't think that I'm going to leave one lesson and leave it. I will go back to the lesson and refer to the lesson again and again, so that it settles in, so that you remember it the rest of your lives, inshallah. Okay? So Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Inshallah, any other questions before I end?
Maulana Sahab, I have just one question I want to ask you.
What's that?
In the nominal sentence, you were saying the first noun is the subject.
Yep.
And the following noun will always be in a rough family, right?
Correct.
So, but there is no rule like if the first is with the al, the second noun can also be with the al. Like they can.
No. So it all depends. It depends what type of sentence you're going to make. If you're going to make it, for example, if you're going to bring a adjective, if you're bringing an adjective, lesson 1, if you're bringing adjectives, then the adjective will follow the previous noun.
Okay.
So when it's an adjective, it follows the previous noun. But if you're not bringing it as an adjective, then it will be subject and predicate. I'll give you an example. And I end the class on that. In the example which I gave you, ar-rajulu alimun.
Yes.
Ar-rajulu alimun means the man is
Alim.
Is knowledgeable. Okay. Now, if I put alimun and I add alif lam with it, ar-rajulu al-alimu, the whole sentence changes. Sister Kauthar said, you should be able to do that. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Al-rajul, the man.
The knowledgeable man. The knowledgeable man.
The knowledgeable man is knowledgeable person is a man.
No, ar-rajulu alimu. Ar-rajulu al-alimu means the knowledgeable man. Full stop. It's an incomplete sentence. When you say the knowledgeable man, what about the knowledgeable man?
The man is knowledgeable.
No, if you say the knowledgeable man is in the classroom, then it's a complete sentence.
Yes.
There's no is.
Some part is missing in the sentence.
Exactly. So when you say the knowledgeable man, there's no information you're giving. But when you say the ar-rajulu alim, the man is knowledgeable, you have the is to make it a complete sentence. A sentence which conveys a meaning that you're making a statement.
Hadha rajulun alim.
Hadha rajul alim. This is a man. This is a man.
Knowledge.
Yeah. So if he's a hadha, if you say
this is
hadha,
a man of knowledge.
If you say Hada Rajulun Alimun, this is a knowledgeable man.
Yeah, هذا رجل عالم.
Okay, so that's enough for today. Otherwise, you will get carried away. But Alhamdulillah, I think everyone is on board. If there's any issues, just message me, inshallah. Okay. So my wife had her
I
problem.
used to be always confused with other teachers, but Alhamdulillah, everything is so clear now, and I'm grasping each and every word in every class of yours. And I keep going on YouTube and finding other classes, and I'm like listening to them day and night. Shukr alhamdulillah. It's amazing.
But the only thing is that don't get carried away, because if you do get carried away,
No, I won't get tired away until I start reading the Quran with understanding, and that's my promise to myself.
inshallah. So the only thing is that
Inshallah.
after these 3 classes, I will start today and the next 3 lessons. I'm not doing the way I want to teach. Normally, what I'm going to do is that in these classes, these Arabic grammar classes of the Quran, I will start with a hadith, ayah of the Quran, ethical topic, then I'll start the lesson itself. But at the moment, I'm starting straight from the Arabic grammatical concepts in the Quran. But inshallah, after the 3 sessions, I'll be starting with every session 5 minutes, 10 minutes with the ayah of the Quran from the topical aspect, akhlaqi, one of the topics, and then I'll start the lesson, inshallah. Okay, so that everyone takes something along, inshallah.
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 Jazakallah khairan kaseera.
Muhtaj
Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala आपको जिंदगी सेहत सलामती अता करे, इतनी ताकत दे कि आप सबको सिखा के सुकून के सांस ले सकें.
So I have a comment. Initially you mentioned why you're learning. I'm learning because to learn Arabic, but the most important thing is the language of Allah, and I hope the Quran, and for the sake of reward from Allah Ta'ala.
Absolutely. And the thing is that, as I said, we as a Shia community, we have so much treasure trove of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. We are not aware ourselves that the hadiths of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have more, because the beauty is that our Imams alayhimus salam, what they narrate is as if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam narrates, because they are from the blood of Rasulullah and they are infallibles. And the hadith of the Ahlul Bayt is a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the knowledge is one, and we have and all of the treasure trove of narrations which we have. Unfortunately, in the West, we are deprived of the rich heritage we have in the Arabic language of knowledge, and as soon as we become exposed to it, you will stop. I personally don't listen to or listen to lectures in English, to be honest with you, or even Urdu that much as I listen to lectures in Arabic. Why? Because the ulama in the Arabic language, the lectures which they give is completely at a different level. The intellectual level, the ahadith, and what we have, the information, we don't listen to on the pulpits. So inshallah, once you delve yourself and take a sip from the ocean of Arabic language, you will never resort to another language. So inshallah, keep up your efforts and may Allah reward you.